We are here today, gathered here today, to look at a number of issues, but specifically a particular plank which has to do with the kingdom, which has to do with the agencies concerning that is concerned with the responsibility of the kingdom. Today, we want to talk about the kite that was flown. The kite that was flown by some elements, you know, in view of the annulment of the PFN election in Lagos. That's the Lagos chapter of the PFN. Now, my earlier position was and always will be, as a father, an unbiased position. But what we're seeing here is like we are seeing the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob. We are seeing elements that seem to want to fracture, dismember, or disorganize the sanctity of the administration of the PFN in Lagos and Nigeria. Now, the crux of the matter is the election. Election in Nigeria, even in the PFN and in CAN, have been so indoctrinated by the Nigerian factor and the Nigerian politics. This ought not to be so within the corridors of the kingdom. Kingdom administration is different from political administration. Here we have an election that has been, let me tell you about PFN. The president of PFN is more of a pontifical thing. It's pontifical, it is papal. That is to say that so much power is vested. It's a papacy power. So if there was an election, in PFN, it still will rest on the table, as it were, of the national chairman to give a final, national president to give a final verdict. Either a yes or a no. It is not like the normal kind of political system that we have. There's a high rate of papacy in it. So in this particular state where election was purported to have been done, because you see what we do is we look at all sides of the story, which of course you journalists, that's your core mandate, to look at both sides of the story. Now let's look at both sides. An election was done, conducted. The president says via the kite that was flown by one media house that was sponsored by an individual or a group of individuals. Now, the president says this election, I'm going to annul it because, one, there was not awareness, there was not enough awareness. Two, those who were to pretend over it, as it were, they were not well constituted. Now, he had his points. And asked questions like, where was the national when all of that took place? That's fine. But you see, the point here now is this. What is the constitutional requirement? What are the vested powers on the president? That's number one. Number two, if he has vested power to annul, to approve or disapprove, he should be given that right to exercise his powers. Number three, I ask the question, what has CAN got to do with PFN other than PFN is the most contributing financial contributor to CAN? Am I right? God bless you. Now, my point is this. Why is CAN interloping? What efforts has CAN spearheaded by Bishop Stephen Adebute? What efforts has he made to liaise with the upper echelon of PFN before he made the statements that are purported and accruable to him. I want to sound a note of advice to Adibite. Look, stay on your own side of the line. Stay on your own side of the line. We are not here for Khan that cannot. Nigeria is known, Khan is known to have played to the gallery over time. The fact that some of us have kept quiet over time is not to say that we are weaklings. Some of us run ministries with our own money. We don't take offerings. We don't take tithes. Those who know, they will tell you, I don't take tithes. I don't take offering. I run an NGO. I do everything myself. So nobody can tell me anything. If I decide to be quiet, it's because I want peace to reign. But this is kingdom business. We cannot allow destabilization. We cannot bring ethnicity to play in kingdom business. You cannot use the word Lagos is for us. Kingdom is for us all. God's kingdom is for us all. We are not doing Lagos. We are not doing Lagos. We are not doing... Look, even Nigeria is running a Muslim ticket. We are not fussy about it. Are you following me? We are looking for the best. They told us that that's the best. We agree that that's the best. As Christians, we all went to vote. So, any statement that is inciting or insightful is not acceptable to the body of Christ. So I am advising our father in the Lord, Stephen Adibite. Let it not be that in his Olympian height, he will condescend so low not to know how to attend to issues. If Khan is an overriding body, then he should override not on the pages of the newspaper. He should be able to, he should be able to consult, discuss. Bishop Wale Oke is there, other people are there. It is out of place for him to begin to create problem. I read also that another group, they said they are youth group of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and that they will go to the embassy and write to the embassy that the leaders should not come to, they should not go travel out of this country again. Are we okay? Who are those flying this kite, trying to destabilize? My call to them is enough is enough. We have even suffered too much in the hands of the leaders of Khan and in the hands of the leaders of PFN. Let us call a spade a spade. But in this particular aspect, we are not going to sit down. We are not going, this is a sound of warning, a note of warning to them. We are not going to sit down to see that they destroy what our founding fathers, Bishop Idahosa, Bishop Amabude, Bishop Michael Okonkwo, a lot of them, they took time to build this PFN. Charlatans should not come. Khan has no right over PFN. Khan, as led by Adibite, is an interloper. It's not acceptable. Run your own Pilgrims Welfare Board, and run your own Methodist Church, and run your own Khan. If you want to do anything to PFN, let it be advisory, and it should not be on the pages of the newspaper. Because you are inciting people. So this note, I want to encourage all of those that are involved in trying to destabilize Khan and PFN. They should stop. All the sponsors should stop immediately. We how to handle our leaders if they go wrong. Children, this is for Debite, children of the covenant. Those who are not children of the covenant should not know what the children of the covenant are doing. In other words, he is in CAN, he is in the other Pilgrims Welfare Board. Let him leave PFN alone to handle their problem. The annulment by the constitution of PFN, the annulment is solely vested on the president. Because it's like a papal system. So when somebody comes and says, hey, no way, this is Lagos, it's unacceptable, I am telling him that what he's saying is unacceptable to us, me as an individual. I won't take it from him. Don't brandish Lagos to me. Don't brandish Lagos to me. I'm not telling that Lagos is not owned by people, but I came here to develop Lagos. Don't tell me that. Don't bring the war politics into church politics. It's out of place. So this is a note of advice to Stephen, Bishop Dr. Stephen Adebute. He should find a way with all his connections. Go and see Bishop Wale Oke. Tell him his mind. Talk to him as a family. Now coming to the newspapers and talking what he's saying.
Now looking at the questions asked, if I ask the bishop to respond to them, the last advice were given by Ambassador Ayo Akintayo, we will override it. We will just go back into. Now, I will want us to premise this press conference on the advice that we have had from him. And maybe at the end of this conference, we form a committee, a PFN stakeholders committee from here to now begin to go to each of the persons that are the center of this and let them know that this is not just about Akiyemi. We have seen people who are more angry than Akiyemi. The truth is that they are not speaking. And if we have a lot of people, a lot of our family members who are angry the way people are expressing themselves, then it is important for us to come together and put off the fire.